Alrighty, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the concept of kind of where you could, as far as like skill level and kind of how that works when you're drawing. If you're a beginner, this is a beginner question somebody asked me in the comments section, and it's kind of like, how do you tell how good you are, and kind of what would be the good way to look at that as far as like how you rank, quote unquote, among other artists. Okay, it's an artist discussion. I'm only going to take like 8 minutes to talk about it. While I'm doing that, I'm going to be working on this guy right here, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit, this guy. And that's it. Very short video. Stick around all the way to the very end. Subscribe if you love art advice, and yeah, let's jump into it. Okay, so somebody asked the question, like, how do you tell how good you are as far as like what level you are and stuff like that? To be honest, your level, so this is going to be really important to understand, and I'm going to tell you this sentence, and I hope you remember this. Your skill level is inconsistent, right? So you could be great at one thing and horrific at another thing, and I've seen that a lot. Back when I was in school, I was at Art Center maybe like 8 years ago. I remember there was this amazing student. He drew animals very, very fluidly, very like tons of kind of different, I don't know, like he had a lot of like, it looked like Claire Wendling's animals, if you know who that is. Really, just very, just amazing animals. But he drew a person, I remember, for a project, because we had to kind of like have an even skill set to work. And he was horrific. It was terrible. He could not draw humans very well. Granted, there's some of the same issues with humans and animals, right? Structure, a little bit of perspective, where rhythms, things like that, right, are all going to cross over. But he was just not used to drawing people at all, and it showed. He did get better later on, but I remember his first few were like pretty bad. To the point where it's like shockingly bad. You have an uneven skill set, and we all do, by the way. I like drawing dinosaurs. I like drawing monsters. I started out drawing portraits, so I can draw people pretty well. But I'm pretty bad at clothing, although I did have I'm decent at clothing. I would say my weakest points were women. I was drawing a lot of women lately because I've been trying to kind of attack that skill set. So if you're at a beginner level, draw anything and everything. Okay, everything and anything and everything, right? You're a baby, right? If you're a total beginner, draw anything. Doesn't matter. You're gonna get better no matter what. But if you're starting to, how do you say this? If you're not quite intermediate, let's say you're low intermediate, right? And you're low intermediate, and let's just say you're like, you're a beginner still, but you've done a decent amount. You're like a high beginner, let's say. I would start taking a look at your weaknesses, right? So, and you can divide those any which way you want. For me, you can be as vague as like, oh, organic things are hard for me, like everything, like human, dinosaur, dog, cat, organic, right? Let's say all of that stuff is hard, but like, oh, I'm really good at buildings, or the reverse, right? Really good at drawing figures and stuff like that, animals, but I'm really bad at drawing buildings. You can divide it up very broadly like that. Or what you could do, if you want to get more specific, like, and it will get more specific as you get more advanced, you'll be more like, oh, like my friend, really good at, drawing animals, but his figures, as far as humans go, are really bad for whatever reason. You don't connect. You just gotta kind of attack it. So what I would advise you to do is attack your weaknesses if you're in the lower intermediate level, or low intermediate, or high beginner. Start to look at that stuff. I can go over mine real quick. Mine, and they're divided any which way you want to divide them. For me, I'm really bad at color. I need to do that more. I need to do a lot more color. And that's like a big, broad thing on its own, right? Color. I wasn't very good at girls, but I'm starting to get decent at them, to the point where I think I'm going to mark it down as decent in my book. And let me see, what else am I bad at? Generally, buildings, I just don't draw them enough. So I would say buildings I'm okay at. So I'm going to put myself in an okay level. If you really want to do that, if you really want to get very scientific with it, or very organized, you could do something that I was doing a while ago, and I kind of still do it sometimes, is you can put red light, green light, or red light, yellow light, green light. I remember that. You divide it up, maybe make like a list, and put down, you know, whatever, could be a specific, dinosaurs in general. Could be a specific dinosaur, right? Could be like figures, perspective, which is a whole thing in its own. And you could write it down yellow if you think you're okay at it. And this is what I used to do, right? You know, make an Excel sheet, like put, you know, like I was saying, perspective, yellow. For me, it would be like color, red. I still have a hard time with color. I can teach it pretty decently, and I can do a couple of things okay as long as it's limited color palette, but I would still consider myself beginner, not great, so I put myself as a red. For dinosaurs, I put myself as a green. I draw them all the time. I can draw some from my head, totally. Monsters, green. Faces, green. Figures, I would say for me, figures, green, but in some cases, sometimes could be yellow. It depends. But for my sheet, I would put down yellow because it's just something I want to hit on. And then you go through those and you're like, you know what? I'm going to hit on all my yellows. Or you know what? What you really should do, though, is hit on all your reds, right? Everything you're terrible at. And that's, again, another decision. Do you want to work on your strengths or your weaknesses? And depending on which artist you ask, you will get different answers. For sure, you want to accelerate at the things you're good at. So you do want to always work at the things you're best at. But then, you know, you kind of get bored and you want to have an even skill set, and you have to get around to the red. You have to get around to the stuff you're really bad at, just so you know you can do it. Maybe if you're not going to like do it all the time, but just stuff you want to be confident in. Let me talk really quick about what I'm working on here. Let's take a little break and I'll go back. Well, I got like a couple minutes left. This is Gorosaurus. He's like a kaiju, not a dinosaur. It looks like a T-Rex from the old school version. This is actually a kaiju. I think he was in a Godzilla movie. I'd have to look it up. But he is for sure a kaiju. This is back when they didn't know a lot about dinosaurs. So I drew him in this old school way that he actually is in the movie. So yeah, hopefully you like this. And like my friend really liked it. Again, it looks like the old school Tyrannosaurus, you know, where he's like dragging his tail and stuff like that. But yeah, and I'm just kind of doing this in ink. For like, the ink was actually on my list, by the way, and I really feel like I'm gonna green light for ink now. But it used to be red up until like a few months ago. It was like red, hard red, because I had a hard time with the fluidness of this pen. So honestly, you're gonna really decide this for yourself. This is a self-exercise. It's not really something for other people to do. They can give you a lot of feedback. Hey, you're really bad at girls, or hey, you're really bad at this, obviously. But if you want to get really specific, make a huge Excel sheet. Just to recap, make an Excel sheet, write down, divide it any which way you want, what you think you're good at, or what you're bad at, or what you're better than normal at. Give yourself credit. Like I said, if this is for high, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, by the way, I guess we'll do this too. But if you're a beginner, like at everything, whatever you draw, you're gonna get good at. So don't worry about it. Just kind of jump in. I wouldn't even do this worksheet yet. You know, you could draw. But for everybody's intermediate, anybody's high beginner, intermediate, or into advanced, you want to start doing this and systematically attack your weaknesses, so you don't really have any weaknesses ultimately, right? You know, like again, you're gonna attack all these. Maybe a year down the line, you're gonna get a job for a building. You're like, oh, I've done that before. Like, you just need a refresher, as opposed to like, whoa, like you don't know what you're doing, right? Anyways, I hope that helped you. If that helped you, do me a huge favor, hit that like and hit that bell notification and share the video. When you share the video, it brings back this huge, cool group of people that I like. Everybody's just really nice when you share the video. I don't know why. The people that I get from there. And I'm gonna be really active on the channel, so let me know what you like. I'm gonna put a lot of basic, cool art stuff. That's it, I'm talking too much. Come back for some more arty art stuff, and I'll talk to you later.
Hey, for those of you that are a little bit more serious and you really wanna kind of upgrade your art skill all around, I have these beginner art lessons here on my Skillshare. So the idea with this is that some people that, you know, for example, on YouTube, people just kind of want to draw what's in the video and just generally have a fun time. They're not always concerned about the little details and stuff about learning how to do this stuff, you know, long term. And I get that, that's fun. But for some people want to upgrade their art ability entirely, like all around, like they're serious about it. If that's you, go here. Like I said, there's programs here on even some of the same material. Like I said, it's just a lot more in depth. My eye drawing program is an hour as opposed to the video I have on YouTube, which is like 10 minutes, right? You can still learn from both, but like I said, if you really want more and you really want to make this part of your life, go here. I have same thing over here, how to draw a dragon head. I have anime, I have cartoons. There's categories for everything, and everything is for beginners. The other thing about this website is it's incredibly easy to watch it. This is like the Netflix of like drawing lessons. So you can go through the entire site, see everybody else's lessons. And normally the site costs like 30 to 40 bucks a month. Because you're watching this video right now, if you're still watching right now, you get it for free for at least a month. Like 30 days, that's a lot. But just what you have to do is go over here to the video, go down, first link in the description, the very, very first link, that gives you free access to this whole thing for 30 days. You just go over here, you click this thing, boom, and then you sign up. And it's super easy, and the cool part is you can just straight up cancel it before the 30 days is up, and you never pay a single thing. You never pay a cent, and you got all this learning from it. But yeah, like I said, that's an option for you guys. If you guys want to do it, absolutely go hit that up. And that's it.